You know, it's funny how men are taught that love is about doing, about checking boxes, providing, protecting, planning. We grow up with this belief that if we do enough, give enough, sacrifice enough, we'll win her heart, keep her loyalty, secure her love. And sure, the effort matters. But here's the truth most men never hear. It's not about what you do for her. It's about how it makes her feel. A woman will never remember the exact number of gifts you bought her. She won't recall every single favor you did, every dinner you paid for, or the way you fixed her broken sink at 2 a.m. And it's not because she doesn't appreciate it. She does. But appreciation and emotional connection are not the same thing. One lives in the mind, the other lives in the heart. And women, especially in love, live in the heart. You see, women are not wired to measure love in transactions. They don't think, he did 5 things for me today, so he must love me more. Instead, they remember the feeling behind those things. Did she feel cherished? Did she feel understood? Did she feel like you did it because it brought you closer to her, or just because it was expected? You could buy her 1,000 roses, but if your eyes don't soften when you look at her, those flowers will die without ever being beautiful to her. You could take her to the most expensive restaurant in the city, but if your attention is half on your phone and half on the waiter, she won't remember the meal. She'll remember how lonely she felt sitting across from someone who's supposed to love her. You could write her poems, take her on weekend getaways, surprise her with jewelry, but if your words and actions don't come from a place of emotional intention, it's all background noise. She might smile, she might say thank you, but her heart stays untouched. That's why sometimes, just sometimes, a woman will light up more over a random, thoughtful text in the middle of a chaotic day than over an extravagant gift on her birthday. Because that text said, I'm thinking about you, I see you, I feel you. That text made her feel emotionally prioritized, even if only for a moment. And that's what she remembers. Because here's the part men often miss. She's not keeping score. She's keeping memories. And the most unforgettable memories are the ones that stirred her emotionally, not financially or physically. What touches a woman isn't the price tag or the planning, it's the presence, your emotional presence. A man might say, but I did all of this for her. I worked overtime. I bent over backwards. I gave her everything she wanted. And maybe you did, but did you feel it? Did you mean it? Did she feel you in it? Because when a woman doesn't feel that soul-level connection, even the most generous gestures start to feel hollow, and then one day she just emotionally detaches, and the man is left confused, heartbroken, wondering what went wrong when he did everything. But that's the thing, you can't build love on a resume of good deeds. You build it through emotional sincerity, through the tone of your voice when you say, I'm proud of you, through the look in your eyes when she's talking about something silly and you're listening like it's poetry, through the way your hand rests on her back, not just to touch her, but to hold her without words. This is why some men with little money and 0 grand gestures can make a woman feel like a queen, because their love is rich in feeling. And this is why some men who do everything right on paper still lose the woman they love, because she never felt emotionally safe, seen, or stirred. So no, it's not about what you do for her. It never was. It's about how you make her feel while you're doing it. You can look at a woman every single day and still never see her. You can wake up beside her, kiss her goodbye, buy her flowers and tell her she's beautiful and still never truly see her. And when a woman feels unseen, it doesn't matter how much you do for her, something inside her begins to shut down. Quietly, slowly, until one day you're talking to someone who used to love you and you can't figure out where the spark went. Here's what most people miss. Women don't crave attention, they crave recognition. They crave that moment when a man looks at them, really looks, and notices the parts of her that the world overlooks. Not just her curves, her style, her hair, or her smile, but the way she tugs at her sleeve when she's nervous. The way her voice dips when she's tired but trying to stay strong. The way her laughter fades just a second too early when something's bothering her. She wants to be seen in those moments, not for perfection, but for truth. And truthfully, many men don't know how to do that. Not because they don't care, but because they're taught to see women as puzzles to solve, not souls to understand. They chase beauty, performance, and surface level compatibility. But a woman, a real woman, wants a man who can look past all that and meet her in the places where she hides, even from herself. She wants to know, can you see me when I'm quiet, when I'm distant, when I'm angry, not because I hate you, but because I'm scared you might stop choosing me? She doesn't need you to fix everything. She doesn't expect you to read her mind. She just wants you to be curious enough to ask, what are you really feeling? And patient enough to wait for the truth when she pretends everything's fine. Because being seen isn't about being watched. Anyone can watch, but it takes presence to notice. It takes emotional intelligence to sit with her in her mess without trying to clean it up. It takes depth to understand that sometimes her silence isn't the absence of love. It's a cry for safety, for closeness, for someone to reach past the walls she built to protect herself and remind her that she doesn't have to be strong all the time. And I'll be honest with you, if you can't see her emotionally, someone else eventually will. Not because she's unfaithful, but because the human spirit is designed to gravitate toward those who notice us, who hold up a mirror and say, I see you. Even the parts you think make you unlovable, I see those too, and I'm still here. That kind of emotional intimacy, that's rare, and it's the very thing she's hungry for. Not just to be loved, but to be witnessed in her wholeness. To be held, not just physically, but emotionally. Because when a woman feels seen, truly seen, she softens, she glows, she opens in ways you can't manufacture with gifts or compliments. She lets you into her world because she finally feels like someone gets it. It's hard. And let me tell you something. When a woman feels seen, you don't need to ask if she loves you. She shows it in 1,000 invisible ways. In the way she touches your face when you're speaking, in the way she remembers your smallest worries, in the way she believes in your dreams before you do. That's the reward of seeing her. You earn a love that isn't just loyal, it's sacred. But if all you see is her body, her performance, or how well she fits into your life plan, you'll never really know her, and worse, you'll make her feel invisible in a relationship that was supposed to make her feel like the center of your world. Because at the end of the day, love is not about possession, it's about perception. Do you see her? Not the version of her you created in your mind, not the version that looks good in photos. The real her, the one who's been hiding behind strength for far too long, waiting for someone to look deeper. If you can be that man, the one who sees her not just with his eyes, but with his soul, then you won't have to fight for her love. She'll give it freely, effortlessly, eternally. Because nothing unlocks a woman's heart faster than being fully, finally seen. We talk so much about protecting women, physically, financially, socially. We're taught that a man's job is to provide security, a home, a future, a plan. But do you know what kind of security most women are starving for? Emotional safety, not protection from the world, protection from the fear of being too much, too emotional, too complicated, too real. Because here's the truth no one really says out loud. Many women walk through this world guarded, not because they want to be hard or distant, but because at some point, being vulnerable costs them something. Maybe it costs them their dignity, maybe it costs them their peace, maybe it costs them love. So they learn to smile when they're breaking, to laugh when they want to scream, to shrink themselves just enough to avoid scaring people away. And when they meet a man, they're not wondering, will he love me? They're wondering, is it safe to let him see who I really am? That's the test. That's the quiet audition you don't even realize you're a part of. Because while you're thinking about dates and attraction, she's observing, measuring, not your height, not your wallet, but your capacity to hold space for her heart without judgment, without rushing her to calm down, without making her feel like a burden for having layers. Can she cry in front of you without later apologizing for being too sensitive? Can she tell you about her insecurities without you using them against her when you argue? Can she admit she's afraid of being abandoned without you laughing it off or brushing it aside? That's the safety she needs. Not armor, not promises, but the quiet, unwavering feeling that she can exhale around you. Because when a woman doesn't feel emotionally safe, she can't relax into love. She's constantly on guard. She questions everything, your tone, your words, your intentions. She overthinks, not because she's crazy, but because her heart has been handed to the wrong people before. And now she's just trying to make sure she's not putting it in the wrong hands again. You see, emotional safety isn't created by being nice. It's created by being present. It's built when you stop trying to fix her and start listening to understand her. When she says she's anxious and you don't ask why, she can't just let it go. When she says she's hurt and instead of defending yourself, you take a breath and ask, "Tell me what made you feel that way." It's the patience in your voice, the softness in your reaction, the gentleness in your touch when she's breaking, even if you don't fully understand why. A woman doesn't expect you to have all the answers, but she wants to feel that when she opens up, your first instinct isn't to run or minimize or roll your eyes. She needs to feel that you can handle her chaos without making her feel ashamed for having it, that you won't use her vulnerability as a weapon, and you won't disappear the moment things stop being easy. You want to know why some women stay in cold relationships for years while others bloom with men who don't even have much to offer materially? It's because safety is love's oxygen. Without it, nothing grows. But when a woman feels emotionally safe, she starts to soften. She becomes expressive, playful, sensual, loyal beyond measure. She begins to love without second-guessing herself every step of the way. Because she's no longer protecting herself from you. She's protecting the love you both are building. And when you give a woman that kind of space, safe space, she gives you everything. Her heart, her mind, her laughter, her wildness, her quiet, her fire. She'll stop performing and start being. And that's when love gets real. But when she feels like she's walking on emotional eggshells, when she's afraid that one bad day will cost her your affection, when she hides parts of herself just to keep your interest, then what you have isn't love, it's a performance. And no matter how much she loves you, eventually she'll grow tired of pretending it's enough. So if you want to be her protector, don't just guard her from the outside world. Guard her heart. Guard her soul. Guard her in the quiet moments, in the emotional mess, in the places where she feels too fragile to carry herself. Because the strongest women don't need saving, they need safety. In the beginning, it's easy to show up, easy to be romantic, easy to say the right things and plan the perfect dates when everything is new and exciting. Love feels effortless. Passion is high, attention is sharp, and you naturally give your best. But the real question is never how good are you at the beginning. The real question is, how consistent are you when it's no longer new? Because women don't fall for intensity, they fall for consistency. And a lot of men confuse the two. They think that just because they loved her loudly once, because they did something grand, because they made a huge gesture, she should know, she should remember, she should stay loyal to that version of him forever. But it doesn't work like that. Women don't hold on to the best thing you ever did. They hold on to what you do consistently. She wants to know if the man who once showed up with flowers at her doorstep will still hold her hand in silence when she's hurting. She wants to know if the man who once stayed up all night texting her sweet nothings will now stay up just to listen when she can't find the words. She's not looking for the high. She's watching how you move when life becomes routine. Because eventually the butterflies settle. The spark won't feel electric every single day. Life will get busy, stress will creep in, the conversations may lose their novelty, but that's exactly when love is being tested. Not when it's easy, but when it requires effort. Consistency is what makes a woman feel safe. It's what builds trust. It's the subtle rhythm of your presence, showing up when you said you would, following through on your promises, making her feel like a priority, even when the world is pulling you in every direction. And no, she's not asking you to be perfect. She's not even asking you to always have time. She's just asking for reliability. She's asking you to mean what you say, to be emotionally available, to not disappear the moment things become inconvenient. Because women aren't looking for a man who gets it right once. They're looking for a man who tries again and again. A man who shows effort even when the flame doesn't feel as bright as it did in the beginning. You see, the problem with intensity is that it burns fast. It impresses quickly, but it dies just as quickly. It's the man who goes all in for a month and then vanishes. It's the man who wins her heart and then gets lazy because he thinks the chase is over. It's the man who says, you know I love you, but forgets that love is a daily action, not a past achievement. And this is what breaks so many relationships. Women who fall for a version of a man who only existed during the honeymoon phase. Women who keep hoping he'll come back to being who he was in the beginning, not realizing that man wasn't sustainable. He was performing, not being. He was impressing, not committing. But if you want to keep a woman's heart, don't just focus on lighting fireworks. Focus on lighting candles. Fireworks explode. They're loud, beautiful, and fleeting. Candles burn slowly, softly, quietly, but they last. And that's what a woman wants. A love that lasts. Not something that shouts in the beginning and fades into silence. She's not looking for surprises every weekend. She's looking for stability in your voice, reassurance in your touch, thoughtfulness in your routine, and most of all, she wants to feel that you choose her. Not just once, not just when it's easy, but again and again. Consistency tells her that she's not just someone you wanted, she's someone you value. That she's not just a chapter in your story, she's someone you're writing your life around. And when a woman feels that kind of presence, that kind of steady love, she gives everything in return. Not out of obligation, but because her heart feels safe to trust yours. So don't be the man who starts strong and fades. Be the man who shows up especially when it's hard. Be the man who makes her feel chosen in the quiet moments. Be the one she can count on, not just fall for. Because in the end, love isn't proven by how loud you love her once. It's proven by how softly and consistently you love her always. There's a misunderstanding many men carry into relationships, the belief that once they have her love, once they've won her, the work is done, that she is the prize, the goal, the destination. But women don't want to be the end of your journey. They want to be the reason you grow through it. They want to feel like they're part of your evolution, not just a trophy you place on the shelf once you've arrived. A woman doesn't want to be something you conquer. She wants to be something that awakens something within you, something that stirs you, moves you, makes you think deeper, feel deeper, live deeper. She wants to know that her love didn't just decorate your life, it transformed it. That because of her, you became more honest, more whole, more aligned with your purpose, not because she asked for it, but because being loved by her inspired you to become more of who you were meant to be. She doesn't want to feel like a reward at the end of your hard work. She wants to feel like the reason you decided to work harder. There's a difference. Because when a man sees a woman as the finish line, he starts slowing down the moment she says yes. He starts coasting. He thinks she's his now. And the hunger that once drove him to show up, communicate, grow, that hunger disappears. And slowly, so does the connection. But when a man sees a woman as his muse, his fire, his mirror, his compass, he doesn't slow down. He rises, not to impress her, but because something about her presence calls him to a higher standard. She makes him want to be better, not to earn her love, but to honor it. And it's not about money, success, or ambition. It's about growth. It's about becoming a man who is emotionally intelligent, self-aware, consistent, loving, not for show, but from the soul. Because that's the kind of man who can meet a woman at her depth. That's the kind of man who doesn't fear her strength or her softness. He embraces both, because he's grounded enough to hold space for them. You see, a woman wants to feel like she brings out something sacred in you, like her presence lights a fire under your purpose. Like when she believes in you, you start believing in yourself more deeply. She wants to know that loving her doesn't make you complacent. It makes you ambitious in a different kind of way. Not just chasing goals, but chasing growth, chasing character, chasing truth. And when a woman feels that, when she sees you becoming, not because she's pushing you, but because loving her genuinely inspires you, she feels safe, she feels honored, she feels seen in a way that's rare. Because now the relationship isn't just about what she gives to you, It's about what she activates in you. She's no longer just a girlfriend, a wife, a partner. She's your soul's reminder of who you're capable of becoming. But when a woman feels like she has to nag you to grow, to communicate, to show effort, that's when her love starts to feel like a burden. When she feels like she's dragging you toward your own greatness, something inside her begins to dim. Because love shouldn't be a push, it should be a spark. It should call both people higher without force. So no, she doesn't want to be the prize at the end of your story. She wants to feel like she's in the story with you, that you're not just loving her, but allowing her love to shape you, that you're not just taking her love for granted, but rising with it, evolving because of it. And when you become that kind of man, the kind who allows love to sharpen him, stretch him, humble him, she won't just love you, she'll admire you. She'll support you in ways that go beyond romance. She'll see your flaws and still believe in you. She'll walk beside you, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because she knows she's part of something real, something growing, something sacred. Because the truth is, no woman wants to feel like your reward. She wants to feel like your reason. At the end of the day, it's never about the things you did. It's about how you made her feel while doing them. That's what women hold on to. That's what lingers in the spaces between memories. That's what echoes when they think about you long after you're gone. Not the dinners, not the vacations, not the gifts or the gestures, but the feeling you left behind. You could be the man who checked all the boxes. You could have done everything right. You called, you showed up, you took her out, you remembered her birthday, her favorite food, her favorite song. But if, deep down, she never felt emotionally safe, never felt seen, never felt like your love was sincere or steady, then none of it matters. Because gestures without emotion are like music without melody. They might make noise, but they don't move the soul. That's the thing about women, especially women who love deeply. They don't fall in love with what you do, they fall in love with how you do it. It's not that you made her coffee, it's the way you handed it to her while brushing the hair from her face. It's not that you told her she was beautiful, it's the softness in your voice when you said it, like you couldn't believe she was real. It's not that you showed up, it's that you stayed. Emotionally, not just physically. You see, we often overcomplicate love. We make it about effort, milestones, responsibilities. But love is a feeling. And feelings are fragile. They don't care about your checklist. They care about your presence, your energy, your sincerity. And women, especially intuitive women, can sense when something is off. When your mouth says, I love you, but your tone says, I'm tired. When you hold her hand, but your heart is far away. That's why so many women walk away from men who are good guys. Not because they're ungrateful, but because they never felt deeply loved. And you can't fake that. You can't perform it forever. A woman can feel when you love her with your whole soul, and she can just as quickly feel when you're going through the motions. She doesn't want a perfect man, she wants a present man, a feeling man. A man who makes her feel like she matters, even in the quiet moments, even when nothing special is happening. And if she doesn't feel that, if she feels more tolerated than treasured, more understood in the beginning than in the middle, more admired from a distance than when she's near, then slowly something in her begins to detach. Not loudly, not all at once, but quietly, subtly. Until she's there, but she's not really there. She's smiling, but something's missing behind her eyes, and you'll wonder why. You'll ask, but I did everything for her. I was there. I never cheated. I gave her everything I could. And maybe that's true, but did you make her feel safe when she was vulnerable? Did you make her feel adored when she felt insecure? Did you make her feel chosen even on your worst days? Because the truth is, love is less about what you do and more about who you are while you do it. Were you kind when it was hard? Were you patient when she was overwhelmed? Were you gentle when she made mistakes? Were you present, not just with your body, but with your spirit? Those are the things she'll remember. The feeling of your arms around her when the world was too loud. The way your voice softened when she cried. The way you didn't try to fix her pain. You just held it with her. The way you looked at her like she was the most important person in the room, even when no one was watching. That's what makes a woman stay. That's what makes a woman feel loved. not just told she is. Because anyone can say the words, anyone can perform the motions, but very few people can leave an imprint on your soul. And that's the difference. She won't remember the details, she'll remember the feeling, the warmth, the peace, the spark, the safety, the love that didn't have to be loud to be felt because it was always present in the silence, because in the end, it was never about what you did. It was always about how you made her feel